Okay, so now that we understand where the Western knowledge is coming from, and understanding how that knowledge has been created by a specific race and gender, and we gave a geographical position, we can continue. After the Second World War, we got the promotion of social sciences, but simultaneously, we got another shift in the power of the world. So the leadership of the world shift towards United States, and the United States took over the role that Western Europe was having before. And also we got a geopolitical and geoeconomic change in which the world was divided in three worlds. So first world was capitalist system countries. Second world was communist countries, and third world was countries in development, or I don't know. It's like I still not understand it. Also, during the 1960s, humanities focus changed towards structuralism and post-structuralism. So we got like the analysis of society from different perspectives, like psychoanalysis, deconstruction, archaeology of knowledge, and communicative actions. So basically, from post-structuralism, we got to basic concepts that are going to give us the basis to understand how knowledge has specific intentions to legitimize white supremacy, patriarchy, and heterosexual normativity. We have to go back a little bit and center ourselves, place ourselves in the Enlightenment again, because during the Enlightenment, we thought that reason was going to liberate man. And freedom, we got for the first time, we were talking about the freedom of man. But once again, when we move from the semiotic, classical semiotics to the enunciation, we analyze what's the meaning of man. Because for almost like 1 century, we thought that this man was universal man, was humankind. But now we understand that this man was the European concept of man from the Renaissance. So in consequence, we have the inexistence of universal domain of free discourse, because the free discourse is only for this man, not for everybody. In consequence, we have the third world as a consumer of the first world scholarship. So as instance, we can think like how countries in development, or the third world countries, so the Big South, how they call it now, we apply systems of economical systems that are made to make us lose. For example, having free trade, and then competing with industries that have been developing for centuries, while our industries have been just developing for like 50 or 60 years. So we are going to have different qualities of products, almost at the same price, and then guess what product is going to be sold. That's one example. So when we understand that this man of the Enlightenment that was getting the freedom is not universal, we understand that it was not for lesser humans or subhumans that populated the world beyond the heart of Europe. So now that we locate knowledge, we can say that there is an epistemic privilege of the first world, because they can create categories and they can be part of the categories at the same time. So, for example, they divided the world in 3 worlds, and they put themselves on top. Also, this epistemic privilege has produced the impression that knowledge making has no geographical location. And this is what Santiago Castro Gomez, a Colombian philosopher, called the hubris of the 0 point. So in consequence, we can say like annexation of the third world to the worldwide capitalist system produce draining of natural resources, intellectual and scientific, and labor exploitation. As instance, we can think how when the labs, the pharmaceutical labs, they send people like anthropologists, sociologists to research native knowledge, and then they steal the receipts to medicines and the secrets, and then they get the patents. So this is part of the intellectual exploitation. And labor exploitation is just like having a multinational corporation working in our countries because they don't have to pay the same wages that they will have to pay in the first world, and they can exploit us, and they don't have to cover their workers with healthcare or insurance or anything. So now we understand geopolitics of knowledge. But in the other side, we have polypolitics of knowledge, because we have to understand that this system of knowledge, this framework, has been created for legitimize white supremacy, patriarchy, and heterosexual normativity. This has origins, understanding this has historical origins in the civil rights movement. So, for example, the first one was feminism, because women start realizing, okay, like, what about me? Like, why I don't have the same rights as men? Why I can't be in the public sphere? African American women, black feminism, African American men, civil rights, African American civil rights movement, Native American, and queer community civil rights movements. Conceptually, this analysis also comes from Frantz Fanon too, because he realized how after the liberation of Africa, they didn't replace the colonial structure of knowledge. So basically, they assimilated the same structure of power and oppression in their new governments that they were creating and the new order that they were creating. So it was not anymore white oppressing white people, but it was black people oppressing black people. The name of the book is Black Skin, White Mask, and unveil how when we don't understand this map of knowledge, we think that Western culture is our culture, and there is a universal culture. And we should know that. And we should feel shame of our tradition and language and race, color of skin, country. Coming back on synthesis, body politics as a way to decolonizing knowledge and as a response to race, gender, and sexual marginalization. Now, to finalize, I will say, as Mignolo points out, and Grossfogger too, epistemic disobedience as a decolonial option, and is necessary to take civil disobedience to its points of not return, because after all the victories that we got in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, now we are seeing how the social sphere and public opinion is moving towards the right wing and towards oppression and towards white supremacy. And I think one of the problems is that we haven't overcome the epistemic colonialism. So understanding these two maps and understanding the concept of geopolitics of knowledge and body politics of knowledge is essential to generate changes and start micro revolutions to achieve an egalitarian democracy.